Well, it's Monday, so you know what that means. It's time for us
Right.
to overreact to things. Overreaction Monday. I'm going to give you some statements, and you tell me if it's an overreaction or not.
All right.
All right?
Let's do it.
Let's start with our first overreaction.
Okay.
The White Sox are the most disappointing team in April.
That is absolutely not an overreaction. This is completely true. The White Sox are 8-21.
Oof.
Are you kidding me? I picked the White Sox to win the AL Central. And they've just been nothing but disappointment so far this year. If you were listening at the end of last week, I went on and on and on about the organization and Jerry Reinsdorf and how this organization isn't going about things the right way. And to see them now, after a month of the year, being 8-21, they are so much more talented than an 8-21 team. Are you kidding me? They're on a pace to go 41-121.
Oh my gosh.
That's ridiculous. And on top of all that, on top of not playing good baseball, on top of going on a losing streak of 10 games, Luis Robert Jr., arguably the player on your team that should be an MVP player, one of the most talented players in the game of baseball, can't run out a ground ball? And I'm not saying one of those ground balls where you see major leaguers like, okay, I hit it hard, the guy fielded it, and the throw's in the air, I'm going to slow up. No. Luis Robert Jr. had a hit. He's fast. There was a swinging bunt down the left side. Pitcher fields it, makes a good play. Luis Robert Jr. just wasn't running. And he easily would have beat it out. I tweeted this. This is ridiculous. Unless there's an injury that happened here that I don't know about, this is absolutely inexcusable out of Luis Robert Jr. And I still stand by that. After the game, he went on to mention something about, like, my hamstring was a little tight. Like, who's believing that? If that's true, then you should have told somebody. That's your job to do that then. But it's not. He's just not running out ground balls. By the way, Luis Robert Jr. didn't know the name of his bench coach.
What?
It's Charlie Montoya.
Wait,
he didn't know. He didn't know his name.
How?
I don't know.
How is that even possible?
I don't know what's going on in the White Sox organization, but it needs to be torn down from the tip top. And this is what we talked about last week. But this is definitely not an overreaction. The most disappointing team in April is the White Sox. It is wild what's going on.
They look and feel like a hot mess. No one's on the same page. Your star player doesn't know the name of one of your coaches on your coaching staff. It doesn't feel like anyone is bought in to whatever the idea and the goal is for the season. And that's how you win championships. That's how you win games. That's how you win your league. And they're having none of that. Yeah. None of that. It is a hot mess.
It's hard to watch. There's so much talent. It really is hard to. It's can't imagine being a White Sox fan right now because, as you mentioned, it's really bad.
Yeah, that's brutal. All right. On to our next overreaction. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Harper's return will propel the Phillies into the playoffs.
I don't think that's an overreaction at all. In fact, the Phillies have been playing much better baseball of late. Now, as you all know, Alex and I filmed the Monday episode during the Sunday night baseball game, which is the Astros and the Phillies. So, not knowing the result of that, heading into Sunday, the Phillies' record is 15-13. Now, over the last couple of weeks, Alex, we've spent a lot of time talking about how disappointing this team is.
Oh, we were trash talking them.
It's time to give them the credit they deserve, kind of under the radar. And who knew? Brandon Marsh is the new Barry Bonds in Major League Baseball. He's been unbelievable. And shout out to the Phillies for playing much better baseball. On top of that, some news just came out that Bryce Harper is set to see a doctor on Monday to officially get his clearance to be potentially back in the lineup Tuesday.
Yeah.
Bryce Harper could return to the Phillies lineup on Tuesday at the perfect time. They're playing good baseball. They're back over 500. So this definitely is not an overreaction. The Phillies absolutely should They could and should make the playoffs with this team, but they're going to be scary good. Zach Wheeler looked good on the mound the other day. Aaron Nola looked good. So they're aces that need to pitch like aces, playing better. They're getting healthier. I think we're about to see the full potential of the Phillies team that really we haven't seen yet for the first month of the year. But we're going to get there, and the Phillies, I think, can make the playoffs.
And remember, we've been seeing Bryce Harper taking reps at first base.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have to throw the ball, obviously, all the way from the outfield. Better for his healing process.
Yep.
But
we'd still be a long way from that.
Very long way
but
if he was playing in the
end
outfield.
of the year. By the end of the year, we might be seeing Bryce play first base. But to get back, he will be DHing for the foreseeable future. But yeah, the first base thing was...
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But also remember, like, he's their MVP. Having that energy, just even having that presence and that energy in the lineup, in the clubhouse, in the dugout, to be able to lead by example is going to completely change the tone in a positive way.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right. We are aligned on the first two overreactions.
Okay.
Okay. Our third overreaction.
Hit me.
Jacob deGrom will spend more time on the IL than pitching. Ugh. It's brutal.
This makes me sad. I'm going to say that this is not an overreaction. And I hate that I have to say that. So let's just look at a timeline of this year, right? Spring training. The very beginning of spring training for Jacob deGrom was delayed with side tightness. April 17th, wrist soreness got taken out of that game. Then Friday, he comes out of the game with elbow inflammation. And then Saturday, he hits the injured list. So, this sucks, but I'm going to say it's not an overreaction. And I don't think anybody is surprised at this point, unfortunately, when you hear Jacob deGrom is going on the IL. But this one scares me. Elbow inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
There's a chance he doesn't pitch the rest of the year.
Oh.
I mean, whenever you start talking about an elbow and being inflamed, that's dangerous. Now, I'm not saying that is the case. I do know he rather quickly went on the IL after this start. I hope we see Jacob deGrom start every game from the time he comes off the IL for the rest of the year. I don't think that's going to happen. And unfortunately, I don't think it's an overreaction to think he spends more time on the IL this year than pitching. It sucks. He's one of the most dominant, if not the most dominant pitcher in the game of baseball when he's on. But unfortunately, the guy just can't stay healthy, and we're seeing more of that now.
Yeah, the best ability is availability. And just to put it into perspective, deGrom has not pitched more than 15 games in any of the last 3 seasons because he had multiple injuries in each of those last 3 seasons. And that's compared to pitching 30 or more games in 4 of the 5 seasons from 2015 to 2019.
Interesting.
So he's half the amount of games the last 3 seasons, a bunch of injuries.
Sucks. Game baseball is better when he's out there.
Yeah. All right. Our last overreaction.
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Yeah.
MLB should expand to Mexico City.
The Mexico series was insanity.
Wild.
I mean, the first game, Saturday, there were 11 home runs in the game.
Uh-huh.
The MLB record for home runs in a game is 13. They hit 11 home runs in that game. Now, the average distance of home runs in that game was 442 feet.
Oh, my gosh.
Only 3% of home runs this season outside of Mexico have traveled 442 feet. So, just a quick synopsis here. Yes, the games in Mexico have been insane. Also, here's why. The elevation at Coors Field in Denver is, you guessed it, about a mile high, 5,280 feet. By far the highest elevated stadium in the United States. Mexico City is 2,000 feet higher than Denver. So the balls are just absolutely flying. Here's my answer to this question, and it comes very easily to me. Absolutely not. We cannot expand to Mexico City. Has it been fun to watch these 2 games? Sure. But it ain't baseball what we're watching. And pitchers are probably out in the outfield quivering when they hear the bullpen phone ring. They hear the bullpen phone ring, and they're probably out there twitching. Like, please, not me. No. If you're a pitcher, you would never sign there. What MLB should do is just get a home run derby together once a year, send them down there, and let Shohei and Judge and Pete Alonso hit balls 550 feet. But you can't put an expansion team there. I don't know what I watched this weekend, but it wasn't baseball. But it was fun to watch. I will say.
It was great.
It was a blast.
You get a home run, and you get a home run, and you get a home run.
Yes.
It was great.
It was nuts. And also the field is the fences are shorter than Coors Field.
Oh,
which
interesting.
Is deep because of the elevation.
Okay.
Mexico City was not. Like, it was crazy.
All right.
Alex, you could hit homers there.